Hi, Internet people. So the Stitchers finale was last night, and because of that, I decided I would bump my recap video up a day. So you are getting this day after the episode airs, and I have my quick recap and some thoughts for the ending / possible season 4. We still haven't heard if they're renewed or not. I'm actually getting a little bit worried because Shadowhunters has already been renewed. And I don't know the renewal schedule for stuff. I never figure out what Freeform's schedule is. I typically don't know any channels like renewal schedule setups. So we shall see. But in this episode, Cameron and Kirsten have officially had sex. But they thought they had an oxytocin level thingy, filter, that's what it's called, that would work in the event of a stitch. And so it turns out that this really high up military official, Nichols, who is in charge of the Stitch program, has died. Natural causes, totally fine. They stitch in, and because she's older than most of their specific stitches, which surprised me actually because I didn't realize the pool was such a narrow age range, because I know we've had some adults, but I guess they've all been younger. But I thought that the aliens guy was older, but I guess maybe he was still younger than her. I didn't figure out an age for him. But even with the filter, it was super messed up. Everything was really rainbowy and very difficult for her to figure out. She did see or learn the code to this private room, which had to be done through voice activation, and then she saw that they were going to terminate her mother as an asset, which is bad. So she bounced almost immediately because of that. And Maggie is super irritated because the filter didn't work. She's mad that they decided to move forward with their relationship when they knew it was causing problems in the stitch. And Kirsten and Cameron are actually like that. I mean, Cameron is irritated at Maggie for being upset at them. It's the whole thing. Kirsten and Fisher wind up going to Nichols' place. Her voice actually opens the sealed room, which reveals a super old computer setup and all of the codes for stitching. And then later, when they need to go to where her mother is being couched, because all of this relates back to her mom, they just let them in because Kirsten is with them. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, Nichols is totally prepared for them to stitch into her and send Kirsten on her merry way. And so they're trying to figure out what these algorithms mean, because something has been picking the stitches, but it's not really, like, it's not Nichols. Nichols is just sort of working with the data, or like moving stuff from whatever is actually doing the selecting. On top of all of this, Camille and Amanda had a sleepover, and Amanda suggests that they move in together, which I'm going to talk about a little later. I have some thoughts. And then Camille tells Kirsten that she's going to be moving in with Amanda. So yeah, I had lots of thoughts for Commanda and things happening with Camille. They go to the base. Stinger is there. They think he's like broken in, and I was like, you're not an elusive, like, you're not sneaky, dude. Like, everyone knows what you look like. You're not going to be able to sneak into this base. Ivy totally set him up. Everyone shows up. A firefight happens. Kirsten's mom is almost killed because they shoot her tank. Kirsten like stands up in the middle of this firefight and is like, stop. They take her mom back to the lab, and so they have her in the corpse cassette to like keep her sort of okay, they're like monitoring her and trying to make sure she's fine. While they're monitoring her, they do a scan, and SubBio points out that there's some sort of mass on her brainstem. But Stinger says that's fine, because Stinger was initially locked up in a little room by himself, and Kirsten tells Cameron like he needs to help us. He's the only person who's ever stitched into a live human being before. So Stinger is going to be like, he's not going to touch anything, but he's going to tell Cameron what to do. The issue is that when they go to stitch in, it doesn't work. Kirsten can't stitch in, there's nothing happening. Then Stinger says, oh, it could work if we switch them. We need to put them in different places. They need to put Kirsten in the corpse cassette and her mom in the stitch tank, and then he thinks that will work because it will like bounce back and it'll be fine. Cameron hates that idea. He and Stinger actually get into a fist fight, which was apparently Stinger's way of saying like, oh hey, look at you using your emotions about this situation and channeling them at me, and they bounce back. See, look, that's what we need to do. But bam, got it. So they wind up flipping Kirsten and her mom. Kirsten's in the corpse cassette, but it's not working. It's just hurting a lot. They need to cool her down because it's rejecting her as a corpse because she's too warm. So they cool her down. She's freezing. Before all of that, she and Cameron have this super sweet moment together where they're like saying I love you, they're kissing, but literally the whole time I was like, literally the oxytocin levels, folks, like you keep screwing those up. I know they're in love and I appreciate Camston a lot, but I was like, we're having so many problems with oxytocin levels right now. They get her in to, they like start working on it, they're like doing the thing, but Subbio also notices the same mass on Kirsten. Turns out Stinger put nanobots, little tiny thingies, little things, in Kirsten and her mom in an attempt to get them to sync up. So they're just chilling on the back of Kirsten's brain and they're totally fine. But this also means that Kirsten is the Stitch picker. Apparently, the nanobots have been working with Kirsten to determine what brains she needs in order to stitch into her mom. So it's like this feedback thing. So the little nanobots are doing all the work through Kirsten. So she's actually been getting into brains that she needs to stitch into her mom. So it should work out, right? Right. They finally get stitched in. Kirsten has to use all of the love she's been feeling to connect with her mother because they need that like emotional energy between the two of them. So she starts picturing all of the people she loves, all that going on in her head. It's really well edited. It's a really sweet scene. We see a lot of people. We see a lot of moments with her and Cameron. There's a lot of stuff. Then her mom is shown. They're in a white room, all in white. Kirsten says it's time to go home, and then they are back in the lab in their bodies, and they're like slowly waking up. Stinger rushes to her mom, and Cameron rushes to Kirsten, and they like start checking them out. He says they need to get his mom right away so that she can check out Kirsten. I'm also assuming so they can check out her mom because I'm assuming there would also be problems for her too. So they get rushed out. Then she's in like a room by herself. Maggie comes in to say what's going on. She says Kirsten is fine. She didn't have a stroke. Nothing seems to be like wrong with her physically. And Camille pushes her, and then we learn that Kirsten has lost 2 to 3 years of memory. She apparently, it's like corrupted. So she won't remember any of them, or the Stitch program, or a lot of things. And that also means she won't remember Cameron. So Cameron is freaking out because he's the one who decided they need to do this Stitch. He's blaming himself for everything, that she's so upset. And they're trying to tell him it's okay, that he just needs to talk to Kirsten. He actually kicks everyone out. Then Kirsten comes up to him and says, you seem really upset with those people. Like, are you okay? And then she recognizes him because he's actually the only one she has long-term memory of because they met in the hospital when they were kids. So they're like talking to each other. She's saying like, it'll be okay, da-da-da. Then Cameron leaves, and then Kirsten looks to the camera and says, I'll never forgive you for what you're making me do to him. Which totally means she remembers who Cameron is, if not everyone. So either someone is telling her to forget that she remembers the stitching program, which could be Cameron's mom, or Maggie needs her to sound like she forgot, or maybe they're shutting the stitch. I don't know. But she just needs to not remember, which is crazy. So she doesn't remember any of that, like any of the past 2 to 3 years. So done. Like, I don't know. They could do a lot with that, like have her rebuilding relationships. But what I think is a little odd, okay, so I have mentioned this a number of times, that Camille is my favorite character. She's one of the reasons that I'm like super dedicated to this show, because I love Allison Scagliotti. I miss seeing her on Warehouse 13 because that got canceled and then she was on this and I was super excited. But having her move out feels like almost writing her out of the show. Like now she won't be at Kirsten's place, she'll only be in the lab, and they haven't given her a way in the lab for her to like move up because Cameron is now head of the lab when Maggie's away. So that means Camille is working on the tablet stuff and like doing the case briefings, but I don't know what that means for Camille. Like if Camille is now just going to be connected to Amanda, and so it's going to be Camille and Amanda plots outside of everyone else, that's fine, but really odd because it pulls them out of the central storyline. And I was really thrown by we're moving in, like we should move in together, because it's really fast. Like it's a 10 episode season, they were broken up for a portion of this season, and now they're back together and immediately moving in together, which there was a U-Haul joke. Like, I appreciated the U-Haul joke, but it's still odd to have it move so quickly. Which is a critique. Another female ship recently has gotten Sandvers on Supergirl, which a lot of people love. Like, I'm a fan of Sandvers. I love that ship on that show, but they've also moved them at a really rapid pace. So the pacing of the relationship just seems very strange. Just rushed and then stalled and then rushed again. So I don't know. I'm also wondering if Allison is not going to be as involved in the show. She did a lot of musical performances within the season, and I thought she was in a band. So, I mean, I'm wondering if maybe she's just busy with other projects. She's focusing on other work, so she's doing Stitchers, but Stitchers is not, like, her priority right now. I don't know. But, hoping, like, I want us to get a season 4. I want to see what happens next. But I don't know, like, I don't know what that means for Camille, because if Camille isn't in it, like, at all, then I'm going to be super upset, because I love Camille. Like, Camille is really one of the core reasons I watch this show. So we shall see. I really am hoping we get a season 4, so we can see maybe Kirsten with her family. They could work on that dynamic, because now her mom's awake, and they have Stinger, and Ivy's around, so I don't know. I don't know what they will decide to do. Let me know what you thought of the finale and this season of Stitchers in the comments below or on Twitter. I am at ClefNotes. You can find me on my blog, clefnotes.wordpress.com. I write for the Nerdy Girl Express, thenerdygirlexpress.com, and I run their Snapchat, the Nerdy Girl EXP. Bye, Internet people.